Madchad's #1 for hits and hip hop, 93.1 Jams, Fusion in the afternoons. One-on-one today with D Truth. What's going on, man? Truth
Man.
Jones.
Yeah. Everything is good. How you doing, King Fusion?
Man, I'm good, man. So you're living out in Vegas these days, but you're a Madison artist, and you've got some new music, and I really like it, man. You got a new sound, a new vibe that you're coming with. You got this song "Peace," and it's definitely giving world vibes, bro.
Yeah. This I was in Madison. I left there in 2010, and I've been gone ever since. But obviously, the market is still my home. It's still my home, and so I definitely want to be heard there. And the sound piece really just came out of pain. That song came out of struggling with my lady, who I'm thankfully still with and gratefully still with. But just having growing pains, you know what I mean? Like whenever you get into a true intimate connection with somebody, like you really are unraveling a lot of history, right? And pain that other people have brought onto them, and when you're trying to connect together. And so just trying to navigate that is where that song came from. And gratefully for me, going through the counseling program, and I have my master's in counseling, so I'm a therapist as well. Like it's helped me be able to navigate that process and then be able to transfer that information and that knowledge onto the music.
Okay. So, a lot of the songs that I've heard from you in the past have definitely been more in the hip hop lane. What kind of made you shift to this different vibe?
I can't say that I like truly shifted more than I just added. You know what I mean? I think for this record, it just blew me away. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I got to do something to it. And it was more of a perfect storm. When I think about it, I'm like, I have maybe one other song that is in this kind of lane with the Afrobeat sounding. But as far as a catalog, I need to find more music like that in order to create that way. I feel my writing process is like I have to have the music first, you know what I mean? And the music inspires me to come a certain way. So it's like, I don't even know if I have a certain lane that I'm in. I feel like whatever the music comes, if I like it, if I'm inspired, then that's what's going to come,
Do you feel like you're maybe still trying to define your sound?
I think maybe outside looking in, it could seem like that, because if you listen to the whole catalog, I have, I don't know, maybe about 65 songs or so out there, in the World Wide Webs. There is very eclectic, and I think for me, it's more about the message that I'm giving than it is the sound. And maybe that's where my consistency is in the lyrics, is in the message more than it is the actual sonics of everything. And that's what kind of makes me a little bit ambiguous, I guess.
Okay. I like that. But I mean, for you, the message has always been really important. And I like that. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that just get out there and they're just, just spitting, mumbling nonsense things that, you got to lie to kick it these days. And you don't get that with Truth Jones. You get relatability and comfortability.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just about being transparent. Like, I think coming up in Madison, coming up in a very, segregated, struggling situation, and with the male masculinity and toxicity from that, we weren't really taught how to express ourselves in a genuine way, right? Especially as a man, you had to bottle up your stuff, and what happens in the house stays in the house. So, things that we're taught from kids, and so we never really learn how to connect with another person because we're not talking about what we're going through, in a genuine way. So for me, it's like, I want to be the conduit to be like, it's okay. It's okay to talk about what's going on. Like when stuff doesn't look so well, or when you're struggling, it's okay to talk about that, because that's reality. Whenever you come from any kind of situation, you go through life struggles, and I want to be able to create something to where people can be like, yo, like, I can relate because I'm struggling too, and he's not too proud to talk about times where he's, gone through some rough things.
And who doesn't need peace?
Right.
I need peace.
100%. And
You know what I mean?
even my lady, she loves the record too, even though she knows, I'm saying, that it came from my struggle. Like but at the end of the day, you can't hide from truth. You can't hide from the reality of things. And that's why I was inherited that name. Like I like to talk about the real stuff, even if it's hard, even if it hurts. Yeah.
There's something to that. There's something to that vulnerability as well that really resonates with creating a fan base, especially in 2025, right? It's about that direct connection. That's what everybody wants. That's why TikTok and Instagram and all these different social medias are really the big viable point, because it's your direct connection. I can message this person and I can at least see that they read it, even if they didn't respond to me.
Right.
And for some people, that's enough.
Yeah, I wish I was more into social media. I think I was born maybe a little bit before the curve. You know what I mean? Where it's something that interests me, because right now it doesn't interest me at all, and it's a struggle for me to get to posting.
It's more. I would say, bro, it's more about like what's out there. I'm definitely a good decade older than you, bro, and I struggle with it too. You know what I mean? It's what it is. Like, people are looking for the same things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm forced to social media. It's a job means, like, just like you are, right? But if I didn't work in radio, if I didn't work in entertainment, I would not be on TikTok, bro.
100%. No, it's definitely a struggle for me, and I just have this illusion, and sometimes I guess it could be a disillusion, that other people are just going to find it and then they'll spread it on their own without me having to do anything. But that's the dream. But I know I have to kickstart it somewhere.
Okay. Well, I dig that, man. You're not real strong with social media, but you do have presence out there. I know you got a link tree and whatnot. If anybody wants to kind of tap in and follow the journey, it's the best way to find everything Truth Jones.
Yeah. The link tree that you spoke of is probably the best way, because it has everything on there. And it's if you go to Linktree, it's Truth Jones Fan. So TruthJonesFan. And that has pretty much everything that I've done. Every musical thing, even back, from collaborations that I've done that I can't even put on the sites because of whatever licensing rights. But I got stuff like that on Instagram, my TikTok. Every record that I've released from, the Year of the Truth back in 2021 to Peace on my birthday, April 27th this year, is all there. So like I said, over 60 plus songs, and you can really see the journey of my musical growth and just of the things that I've gone through, because I've chronicled them all.
I was going to say, man, like, the progression that you've gone through, I know you were hesitant to reach out this time because last time, it didn't work out. You didn't have a single that we could clear, but like, bro, like, that is super common. Like, you shouldn't feel bad about that stuff. Like, 15 out of 20 singles that cross my desk don't cross the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Like, you have to learn that this isn't the way, to realize that it isn't the way. Right. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to keep going, man. And, your progression has been really steady. It's been really strong.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really do. And yeah, I just come from a mode of just wanting to create. Like, I don't know a lot of the inner workings or the behind the scenes type of stuff. Like, and so it's definitely not coming from a malicious standpoint. When I send stuff like that, it comes from an ignorant standpoint, and that's just me being 100. Like, I just didn't know or trusting people that they had already cleared stuff, and then be like, okay, it's good, and I hear this is a route, and me and you had a connection since back in 2007. When
when you were still here in Madison,
with my brother. Yeah, exactly. And you used to DJ for some of my first shows And so no, so I was like, man, let me just get this to him. He'll play it because I didn't realize the inner workings of things, and
Well, you remember you remember when we met was your brother's mixtape. He did a mixtape, and something happened, and it was like the week before the release, and like they didn't have the tape, they didn't have a DJ, they didn't have cover art or nothing, man. And like Asian Andy hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, like these guys are in a situation. You're a mixtape DJ, you know what I mean?" And Pro talked, and like a week later, you had cover art, you had a mixtape, and you had a release party, and like it just kind of been an adventure since then, man. Like between you and your bro, like watching the journey has been cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's been a journey, for sure. And like I'm sure like most artists, they just really want to be on the creating aspect of things and really don't want to handle some of the other things. But and if it's not most artists, and it's just my perception, or it's just me. But yeah, I just want to focus on creating, because that's what I love. That's the part. Like I really truly get inspired every time I write any song that I write. Like I don't do anything out of force. I'm not like, man, I got to get this done. Let me try to figure this out. Like I'm writing from a spirit that is a space that I can't even tap into unless the music is there. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I surprise myself, not on an arrogant way, but I surprise myself that I'm even creating this stuff because naturally I'm like, I don't think I'm this creative. I don't think I'm this artistic. Like I'm more of a conventional, like things have to be in order. Like everything has to be super neat kind of situation. And so artistic creativity doesn't seem naturally coming from Daniel Jones. Like, but when the music comes, it's like I'm a different person. I'm a different person. I can create things. Yeah, that it's wild to me.
I mean, I've been in a lot of studio sessions with a lot of different artists, bro. Then there's a lot of songwriters that need the melody to write, and they start out just humming to it, just and 20 minutes later they got a hook, or whatever, you know what I mean? But it just starts out as rough melodic, patched in, and I don't know. Seeing there's a lot of ways to be creative, man. So yeah, don't knock that process. Like that's not irregular. That's a normal thing. So it's about half and half. Some people can just write and then get the beat and put it to it. Some people need that beat, and there's an evolution from that beat to conception, man. So like don't stress that. Last question I got for you, because I know we're gonna have a bigger interview when you come to Madison. When I was looking to start doing some promotions for Peace, I saw you had something with Voodoo and Dayon.
Yeah,
and I know you ain't done that to me, but tell me a little bit about that, man. What's that record?
So that was Music Sounds Better. Are you talking about that?
Believe you got multiple with Voodoo and Dayon.
I do actually. Because me and Dayon go way back to 2005. That's when I met him, and we started out, as brothers, not even on some music stuff at all. Just completely connected through the weirdness. Somebody who was roommates with my girlfriend that I was dating at that time. And so that's how we met when I was in college. But Voodoo then, came along after I met Dayon. He came along later on and was working exclusively with Dayon, and I wasn't even creating music. And so it wasn't really a relationship that me and him had that was musical. It was just, us being cool.
Real life, yeah.
He lives out here in Vegas, and, I'm cool with him. I had a son with me. And so then I started really getting into music, and we got a couple. He produced probably half of my first album, The Year of the Truth. Really? Voodoo did. And one of the songs I really wanted to put on there that didn't get cleared was that Music Sounds Better. That was me and Dayon and featuring Voodoo. And I mean, the sound is incredible. It's from, I want to say Stardust.
Yeah, it was Stardust. Yeah, it is. And even though that's, even though that's not for the radio, bro, you should still perform the shit out of that song because people know it. It's familiar.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like we've been talking about doing a video for that for so long, and the craziness about that song is that when we first got that beat, Dayon and I, because he got it first, obviously, because his relationship with Voodoo, we wrote to it probably in like 2010 for the first time, and my verse, it just wasn't it. And in his verse, he was like, "Man, I'm not completely sold on either of our verses," and so we didn't do nothing with it. And then around 2021 is when I rewrote the verse, and
maybe,
I was like, now my verse is ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he redid his verse, and I thought we was about to have a smash. And that's when I sent it to you, excited as hell, and to find out that.
And then I crushed it. Like, so let me tell you this, bro. Like, and it's not personal, but like, so I'm not even put the name out, but somebody took a Kesha song.
Yeah.
And I mean, they didn't even try. They just took it, and they sent it in, and I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't catch it, and I aired it, and we got a cease and desist. Dang. Like within like 3 days, bro. Like, wow. I mean, I aired that on Sunday, and like Wednesday afternoon, my boss pulled me in, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, what's happening?" And he showed me the cease and desist, and like 3 pages, like Catch was pissed, and I'm like, "What are we doing?" Like I don't know. So we dig down the pipeline. We played a song one time that took Kesha. They didn't clear it. They didn't. And apparently they were on it enough. They had done enough promotions that her team
caught
out about it. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, it was just a Madison cat. It never aired anywhere else. I'm probably the only radio personnel that ever heard it. Right. And we just get into local love, and now I listen to every song all the way through.
No, I mean, you definitely have to for your job's sake. And for me, I just, like I said, as a creator, I just didn't really get, involved. I just trusted that the stuff was kosher, and I was like, all right, like it's ready to go, And so I guess I learned definitely from that situation that it's not that simple.
That was really why the whole mixtape era collapsed, right? Like, everybody wanted to like record over everybody else's beat, but then you couldn't actually sell it anywhere, so you were selling it out the trunk, and I don't know, it just became such a business aspect that that they just started releasing albums as mixtapes and taking the DJs off of them, and it's a whole different thing now. But that's literally where it started, the beat jacking and everything, man.
Yeah, I mean, I put that song on in a skating rink a few times.
Oh, I bet you that blew.
Yeah, I know. People was loving it, man. So
because it's great. It's really great.
Yeah, it's great. You got conventional with it, where we can't make no money off of it. And I don't care if I don't make money off it. I just want people to hear the record because it's a dope record. Like, I'll even, if I could figure out a way to give him all the royalty stardust and let him have it. Like, you can have the money. I don't care about that. I just want people to know, like, we laced, me, Voodoo, and Dayon snapped on that record. Like, we killed it. So,
yeah, unfortunately, the world is not that simple or nice anymore. But yeah, I mean, if Stardust would figure that, bro, like, man, I mean, they ain't doing nothing. They could use the money, but at this point, people are more concerned about, and I mean, at the end of the day, I've heard people say, like, you won't make anything that moves the needle, but it's more concerning about our image and what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can see those points, but also, like, let's just look at like what the culture of music is. Nothing's really original anymore.
No, right, 100%. And most of my lyrics are pretty clean. I would say out of the 70 songs or so that I got, 60 some, probably 60 of them are fairly clean songs. Only a few of them are, because I don't do vulgarity. Like, I don't do a lot of, like real sex type of stuff in my music. Like I'm not vulgar in that way. I don't talk that way in personal life, and I don't work that way. So, my
I would say being a guidance counselor, you're trying to uplift and guide people. So, you know what I mean? We won't call you the happy rapper, but I dig it, bro. The message is a message. At this point in time, it's I need peace, right? And that's the vibe. And it's summer 2025. Truth Jones, I think peace is going to be the anthem for you, my man.
Hey, I appreciate that. And we just got to keep it moving.
Absolutely, we do. One more time, can we find you on Instagram?
Yep, it's truth_Jones. And that's the same for TikTok as well. Yep, truth_Jones.
And from there, you can get to the link tree.
Yep, you can get that, and everything is there. Follow me, and just enjoy the ride. Because I'm growing as I move every day. Even just this interview, I'm growing from this interview. I'm getting so much information from King Fusion, and so I just you'll see the growth in all aspects of me, just from the full transparency. So.
Well, that's dope, man. I feel the same way, honestly. So, it's much appreciated. Truth Jones, the new single Peace is out there on all platforms. It's the world vibe. It's got an Afrobeat vibe to it, but they can still bring a little hip hop to it. So it's real, it's raw, it's vulnerable, and it's relatable.
Hey, very appreciate that. I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you.